Okay, so Mason Mount is a player who is heavily linked to Manchester United at the moment. The Chelsea man has 1 year left on his contract. He wants to leave Chelsea. United are reportedly his first choice, and Erik ten Hag wants his signing done before pre-season. So with that in mind, let's have a look at Mount's strengths, his weaknesses, and where he would fit in at Manchester United. Okay, Mason Mount, not a fantastic season for him by his standards. 3 goals, 6 assists, but Chelsea as a team, it was a collective failure across the board. They could not score goals, they conceded too many goals, and overall that was Chelsea's worst season in over 25 years. Now this season, of course, we've seen players bounce back from United's worst ever Premier League season, the likes of Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes. There is no reason to doubt that Mount could do it in my mind too. And I think when we look at Mount as a player, he offers a lot to this team. Very versatile, can play as a number 8, can play as a 10. He can also play as a sort of inside left forward and on the right as well. He does occupy that right hand space very nicely, and it would give us overall more balance on the pitch. Bruno naturally drifts to the left. If we have Mount on the right to link up with Antony, link up with Zolo or Wan-Bissaka, that makes us a more balanced and more unpredictable team. Mount, of course, very good with through balls. His long shots are very positive, and he is a very intelligent player. And look at what he's done in his career so far. Mount has won a Champions League, FA Cup, he's been to European Championship finals. He's only 24. He does know how to perform in big matches. We've seen him in the Champions League final. He set up Kai Havertz for Chelsea's winner. He also scored against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, put in a really good shift that night as well. And I don't think you can ever have enough of that in your team. Players who can't step up in the big matches when it really matters and make something happen, especially going forward. And I think when we look at Eriksen and Casemiro, we have 2 players who are the wrong side of 30 now. They do need rest, they do need rotation, and I think Mount comes in. He could arguably take Eriksen's spot in the starting 11. We could move to sort of a 4-3-3 with Mount on the right and Bruno on the left, Casemiro holding. I think that's a very nice system. So with that in mind, let's have a look at Mason Mount's strengths and weaknesses in some more detail. So when it comes to Mason Mount's strengths, we're definitely looking at an intelligent player, a very good playmaker, someone who has a very good understanding of space on the pitch, where to move, when to play the balls forward, and when to have a shot himself. And I think we see this quite a lot for Chelsea, especially in the season before last. Put up 13 goals, 10 assists. Brilliant numbers for any midfield player, and he has those legs, he can press, and he definitely can do that job for Manchester United. I think, as discussed earlier, he brings a lot of balance to the team. We are very balanced on the left. We very much go entirely through the left. We have Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford. Bruno Fernandes comes over to that side. Christian Eriksen comes over in the pivot onto that side. Lisandro Martinez as well. We are very left heavy, and it means that we do not stretch teams to the fullest. We do not use the right hand side enough, and at times this season it's left Antony, it's left Jadon Sancho very isolated on that right hand side. Bringing Mount in, moving to more of a 4-3-3 with Bruno on the left and Mount on the right, really would give us a lot of balance. And I think compare him to Christian Eriksen, you have 2 similar players who offer very different things. Eriksen very good on the ball, he is a good dictator of play. Mount on the other hand, a much better passer. He has much more energy, much more athleticism in his game, and that definitely will help Erik ten Hag with what we want to do as a team next season. Next season we want to play further up the pitch. I expect us to move to more of a 4-3-3 type formation, and I think that gets the best out of a lot of our players. I think if we are going to do that, it will see a lot of pressure put on Casemiro as the holding midfielder, but if we can win the ball back higher up the pitch, Casemiro will also have less defensive work to do, and I think that definitely is what Erik ten Hag wants. He wants to hold the ball higher up the pitch, and whenever you hold the ball higher up the pitch, you will see opposition backline start to drop back. Someone with Mount's intelligence, his understanding of space and movement, he definitely can hurt other teams for Manchester United. I think as well at 24 we have a guy with a lot of experience, won the Champions League, he's won trophies, and he definitely has a lot still to prove, and he's a very professional footballer. I don't think the fact he's a Chelsea fan will really mean too much in terms of his overall success at United. I mean, Wayne Rooney, our top goal scorer ever, was an Everton fan through and through, and he still is to this day. I do not have any concerns about that. My only concern with Mount, and we are going to discuss this as a potential weakness, it's a weakness to the deal. If we go out and spend too much money on Mount, spend 60-70 million, all of a sudden our striking budget gets smaller, we might not be able to afford a goalkeeper, and I think that makes us a weaker team. Okay, so where does Mount fit in? Well, as we have just discussed, of course we're going to see him probably on the right hand side of a midfield three. So Casemiro sitting, we've seen Bruno play deeper this season, get on the ball, dictate and make things happen going forward. I think Bruno can do that, and with Bruno and Mount, you have two very hard working players who will do the pressing game, will run their socks off every single match, and they will create a lot going forward. And I think Bruno can have a very good link up with Mason Mount. His in-box movements and his movement in and around the penalty box will be absolutely perfect. Bruno Fernandes had the most big chances created in the entire Premier League. Despite this, he only registered 8 assists, so I do think Mount, as a good finisher, as a good understander of space and an intelligent player, can definitely get more out of Bruno, and it will bring in, of course, Antony on that right hand side. If we have a more progressive player there and a system that will get more out of our right hand side as well as the left, we're going to stretch teams, create more opportunities, more overloads, we can cross the ball better. And if we bring in a striker like a Harry Kane, a Højlund, an Osimhen, Gonzalo Ramos, they too will thrive. I mean, if you're Ramos or if you're Kane and you have Mount and Bruno behind you setting you up, you have Marcus Rashford and Antony on the wings, you're going to get a lot of goals and assists, and I think that will make United a much better team all around. More balance, more control and more pressing from the front will make United a better team next season. Okay, so in conclusion, should Man United sign Mason Mount? I think as a player he will add a lot to this team, brings in more depth, and that will be really good for us. No doubt in my mind he will play 30 plus matches in the league next season. Being able to fit in at 10 and in the number 8 position definitely will boost his credentials, and I think he could be a very good signing, will help the system and will get more out of the players we have. I think a lot of it comes down to price. Now, Chelsea allegedly want 70 to 80 million. United are happy to spend 40 to 50 million. If we can meet in the middle around 55 million, I think that's a good deal, and I would take it for Mount. I think it adds a lot to our team. It brings in that extra midfield body, and with the potential addition of Adrien Rabiot on a free, all of a sudden United's midfield options next season could be Bruno, Mount, Rabiot, Eriksen, Casemiro and Fred. That, I think, is a very good, very balanced and well utilised midfield. So that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Would you like to see us sign Mason Mount? Let me know down below. And as always, don't forget, hit that sub button. Helps the channel grow as well. And I will see you guys in the next one.